on the island of Otoya, I think they call it. He was in the toilet on the day, he was in the toilet, in the bathroom, on the day when that man was out there with the gun and he was shooting mercilessly, shooting people from point blank range in their head, children. Well, I don't want to say anything, I just want to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal with this man. This boy was in the toilet and there was a girl in the toilet cowering, frightened. The difference between him and her was she was a Muslim. She was calling to Allah, "Oh Allah, have mercy on my soul. Allahu Akbar, you are the greatest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most merciful, the most kind. Protect us from this evil. Protect us from this man outside who was trying to kill us." He was making dua. And this guy was shocked that this person has got so much time and so much connection with Allah. Such was this, how it affected him, that over the next few weeks he's been in contact with the Muslims. And yesterday, Allahu Akbar, he took Shahada. This is a person who has been saved from the dhulm of this man and the dhulm of mankind. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the verse, you know, that Allah is the best of planners. They plan and they plot. Their plans and their plots can move mountains. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will make sure He is the best of planners and He will give us victory. And to end it, I just want to say that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this message to a group of people in the world, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave the message to the companions and to the tabi'een and to the tabi'een and to the preceding nations that came after until they came to us, there was one man in 732. In 732, that's 112 Hijri. And he had taken the whole of Andalusia. And his intention was to go to Rome and take Rome. And after then, he had a plan to take Constantinople in Turkey. And then after then, he was going to come to France, and he was going to take France, and he was going to come to Norway and Britain, and he was going to take the whole of Northern Europe. And that was in his plan. It was written. He was acting on the verses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in Surah Al-Nur, verse 55, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that I promise you, He's saying, I promise you succession in the land and leadership in the land, and your religion will overcome all other ways. So he went. For 4 years he fought in Andalusia, he got there. And he was going to France. Abdurrahman al-Ghafiqi. This man, he got to Tours. He got to Tours, in between Tours and Poitiers. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be the witness that he had 100,000 soldiers with him. And he took the 100,000 soldiers for 6 days. He fought the kuffar. And he beat the kuffar. You know what stopped him? You know what stopped him, brothers and sisters? And this is the real moral of the story here today. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. What stopped him was when the enemy attacked the camp of the Muslims from behind and stole the gold and the silver. They stole the booty, the spoils of war. From 4 years they've been collecting. They stole some of it. The word got out in the battlefield. Even at that time of 112 years, Hijri, that the word got out in the battlefield, and the enemies of Allah were able to overcome the Muslims because the Muslims broke their ranks. They broke their ranks and the battle was lost. 20,000 Muslims, it was said, were slain that day. Why? Because they were obsessed by the dunya things. They were confused by the dunya. Heaped up gold and silver, high riding branded horses, and competition for the women and for the children. This is what the Quran mentions. Don't be fooled by it, brothers and sisters. It is nothing. I know people who have 50 million, 60 million, and they're the saddest people in the world. I know people who've got 10 pence in their pocket, they're the most beautiful people to be with, and the most happy and the most jolly people to be with. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the fitna of this dunya, of the children that will stop worshipping Allah and will want to do the worship of the dunya and the nafs. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this month of Ramadan, this beautiful month of Ramadan, no doubt the best month with the best ummah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to put us in Jannat al-Firdaus. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept all of your fasting, all of your qiyam, all of your dua, all of your taraweeh, all of your good deeds, and call your not yet Muslim neighbors to the deen of Islam, brothers and sisters. We're culpable. Right now, we are culpable in front of Allah. If we don't do this, then it's something which we will see on the day of judgment in front of us as a bad deed. Wallahi, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if he was here, the whole nation would be Muslim. I know this. Because why? 80 years after the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Muslims had arrived in Portugal. They had arrived in China. They had arrived in India. In 80 years, 80 years, most of the world with no internet, with no jumbo jets, with no tanks, with no warplanes, with no nuclear fuel, with nothing apart from the taqwa which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking you to shield yourself from today, is to give yourself taqwa, and that's why you're fasting today, so that you can get that taqwa back and you can believe that the victory is going to come to you, not to some other group of people. It's going to come to you. And this is what it's all about. Jazakallah khair for being patient.
And may Allah give him reward in every single word he says, and inshallah he definitely will get it, because it's a month of Ramadan and one hasana is counted by 10 inshallah. در این بخش پروگرام از خطیب جوان که جوانتر در این برنامه است، محترم محمد یونس، خواهش میکنیم که روی استیج آمده و در سیرت حضرت محمد صلی الله علیه و کدام لکچر را که ترتیب نموده خدمت حضار گرامی تقدیم می‌آید. برادر محترم محمد یونس که 7 سال عمر داره، جوانترین خطیب برنامه امروزی ما است.
أعوذ بالله